Hey everybody, RockPaperMario here, and welcome back to Let's See If I Can Find the Entrance to the Underground. I swear. Honestly. Okay, well look, I wasn't expecting to find the entrance to the underground, the Goldenrod Underground or whatever. That quickly. I really wasn't. But down in the underground, like Labyrinth. Oh my god. Labyrinth is so good. You know, we made a list of, for the month of October, right? And we've done this before at things like Halloween, Christmas, and stuff like that. We've made this, we've made, like, let's say a list of films that we want to watch that are appropriate for that time. So, like, let's say over the month of October, we had a list of these are some like horror films that we want to watch over the month of October, and we didn't necessarily get around to watching them, but it just means that we kind of have a list of nice films to go to when we sit down and we're like, oh, let's watch something. So like this year over the course of October, we watched like some great films. We watched some of my favorites. We watched Headbutt, more like Butthead. Do I have any crap that I can go over with this? Like, am I really ever going to use curse? No. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, we watched some of my favorites. So we watched, we had been in the process of watching... We had been in the process of watching through the Alien films. So last year actually for Halloween, we watched Alien 1 and Alien 2, or Alien and Aliens, as would be the more appropriate thing to say, we watched. And this year we continued that. We watched Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection. So it was a game of two halves. I had completely forgotten. Also, by the way, clowning, wheezing, right? I was literally just about to say clowning, wheezing right now for being slower than Slow Sister, and then I realized, oh, the Quick Claw, and then, like, I was the one who got clowned. Anyway. So it really was a game of two halves with Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection, because I had forgotten how shit Alien 3 is. Oh yeah, this Switch one. But you know what, let's not try to be so fancy. You already know, from LA to Tokyo. Isn't this where you get like the smoke ball as well? The smoke ball. Do I have any like potions or anything? So I had forgotten how shit Alien 3 is. It's just bad. Like, sorry, it's a shame because the setting is kind of cool. Like, the setting has promise, like this kind of forgotten prison place, like that nobody gives a shit about, you know? It has promise. But it's got no finesse about it. The story is fucking all over the place. It's just not a good film. So I had forgotten how bad that was. And by the same token, I had completely forgotten how good Alien Resurrection is. Like, it's so good. Like, for me, they're like the top three, like Alien, Aliens, and Alien Resurrection. That being said, I've actually never seen Prometheus yet. That's next on our list. So our next on our list would have been like Prometheus and, is it Covenant? Repentance? Wrath of the Lamb? Alien, Wrath of the Lamb. So we didn't actually get around to watching those. Oh, for crying out loud. Don't make me bring out the dream. Don't make me bring out the dream. But yeah, I had forgotten how good Alien Resurrection is. Like, for me, I love Sigourney Weaver's acting in Alien Resurrection. She's just kind of like so unnerving. Like, there's something really uncomfortable, and she does a great job at kind of being that, you know, am I more human? Am I less human? Kind of a thing. It's just really good. And you have some great character actors as well. I forgot how hot that guy is, the space pirate leader guy. I was like, oh my god, where have you been all my life? What am I gonna do here? Apparently I'm an idiot for not using return more. But, so yeah, like, I forgot how good Alien Resurrection is. There's just some great, like, side characters in it as well. There's a great cast. That guy who's, like, running the kind of military general guy looks like a cartoon character, and I love him for it. He just, like, completely leans into his character, and it's great. It's just, like, a good all-around film. So yeah, we watched that. We also watched Let the Right One In, which is one of my favorite films of all time, let alone one of like my favorite horror films of all time. It's just exquisite. We watched Halloween 1 and 2, one night after the other. And then on Halloween night, actually, we went into the city. They were showing Interview with the Vampire in the small independent cinema here for Halloween, and I was like, I need to see this again. The last time I watched Interview with the Vampire was, I swear, maybe about like 8 or 9 years ago or more, on New Year's Eve of all things. What was I doing watching Interview with the Vampire on New Year's Eve? And I have such like a vivid memory of that happening. I have a history though of watching like these strange films over the course of the Christmas period. Speaking of John Carpenter, one Christmas, my brother and I were watching Ghosts of Mars on Christmas Day. This was a couple of years back. My parents were bringing my great aunt back home after she spent Christmas Day with us on Christmas Day. And we were like, oh, we'll watch something. And we turned on Ghosts of Mars because it was on one of the film channels, and there we were watching Ghosts of Mars. I'll never forget last Christmas was the legendary Christmas where we were watching Curb Your Enthusiasm, and my mom said, what kind of asshole is this guy? It was just like a legendary parent moment. It was so good. And then there was another year, maybe like 3 years ago, where like I woke up early on Christmas morning. Because he's a nasty bastard, that elf, for bringing us this present so early. I woke up early in my parents' place on Christmas morning. And, like, I'm talking like something like 5 o'clock in the morning or something, and they were showing The Tuxedo on one of the film channels, so I just started watching The Tuxedo, starring Jackie Chan. Just ridiculous behavior. So yeah, there seems to be like a history of watching unusual films over the Christmas period for me. But yeah, so we went and watched Interview with the Vampire. It was even better than I remember it being. It's just such like a great film. So yeah, I watched like 2 of my favorite vampire films over the course of the Christmas period. Yeah, we should really bring Shakespeare out. So yeah, that was the Halloween period. So we had other films on our list that we didn't end up watching. We were going to watch Event Horizon. What else was on the list? We watched most of them. We were going to watch Event Horizon. We still haven't watched, we still haven't got around to watching Hocus Pocus 2, even though I'm kind of like, Hocus Pocus 2 sits in the same space for me as like New Frasier, where I'm like, do I want to risk... Oh my god, I'm fucking dead. Oh, Shakespeare. Hocus Pocus 2 sits in like the same realm for me as New Frasier, where I'm like, do I really want to risk kind of tarnishing something that I love so much? If it was something where I was kind of like, oh yeah, whatever, you know, then I wouldn't mind risking it. But I'm kind of like, do I really want to watch Hocus Pocus 2 and feel embarrassed on Hocus Pocus's behalf? It's crazy how like popular that Hocus Pocus became. Like, I remember before, Like, Hocus Pocus was that film that they used to show every Halloween on local television here. That'll change the ways the shutters open and close. Labeled switch tree. Do you know what? I kind of feel like just taking out all these clowns first. Do they all have literally like a Golbat and then one of either Wheezing, Arbok, or Muck? Is that their shtick? Oh, this is the thieves. There are thieves here as well. These little shitheads. I thought that said burglar DDD. Anyway, that's what we did over Halloween. Anyway, whatever the case was, like Halloween, when we were out in the city, obviously there are people dressed up as usual, right? You see that a lot. People dressed up for Halloween. It's not a new concept. But for some reason, the like cheap, easy costume of the year seemed to be like college year old, whatever that means. College year old guys wearing, let's just stick with the dream. College year old guys wearing like just an orange jumpsuit, like they were an escaped convict, and I was like, that must have been the one that was like in pennies at the last minute, that everybody was like, oh shit, I need to get something to wear, and they just all bought it. Or Euro Giant or something. So, because that was like the cheap, accessible costume of the year. Just like, I swear, when we were walking from the cinema to the bus on Halloween night, I must have seen about like 30 or 40 separate guys, like in different groups, wearing that like orange jumpsuit. I thought for a second I was solving the puzzle. I thought I was cracking the crystal maze. Maybe it's 231, 23 is number 1. Is that it, perhaps? Well, I'm getting somewhere. Holy crap, I didn't expect this. Come on, let's call her Bigfoot. I'm just gonna check, is the cat okay for a second? Yeah, she's outside in her grotto. She goes into like, she goes into the bush in our... There's a hedge between our garden and our neighbour's garden, and she just goes into that hedge and sits there and tries to achieve enlightenment. We call it her grotto. She sits in there for like hours, just sitting there. The same, she just sits in the grass, like, for hours upon hours, just like, as I say, meditating, reflecting, pondering. But yeah, so that was Halloween. So anyway, the next thing that we wanted to do was we wanted to watch like some classic fantasy films, or some of our like favorite fantasy films. So we made a list, and usually when we make the list, we make it like even, like maybe like let's say if there's 8 films on the list, there might be like 1 or 2 that we're both like, oh yeah, I really want to watch it. And then 1 or 2 each of our favorites that maybe the other one hasn't seen. So, for example, on our list, I think on our fantasy list, there's like Princess Bride, Labyrinth, Stardust, Princess Bride, Labyrinth, Stardust, Magmar! Oh no, everyone gets scared shitless, it's Magmar! The strongest, most vicious, most bloodthirsty Pokemon on Earth. No, Magmar isn't on the list. What else is on there? Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. I feel like Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium is another one of those films that, like, no one respects, but I love it. Like, Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium is a sweet film. It's a really sweet film, and I'm like, why doesn't everybody else recognize this? Mercy! He's like, Mercy. It's hot out. It's hot in here. It's... Oh, there's Mars. There's Mars. They're all either petrol or Mars. Was it really 3-2-1 is the trick? Are you for real? Well, what's Mars going to have, or whatever her name is? Ariadne, or... No, it's Ariana, isn't it? I'm learning to be a better person. The, all these Petrels and Marses. But yeah, what else is on the list is, we didn't put Neverending Story on the list because we watched it relatively recently, like maybe last year or something like that. The same with Willow, because for me, I think like Willow is probably one of the greatest kind of like fantasy films of all time, along with The Princess Bride and things like that. But we didn't put it on the list because we watched it relatively recently. What I did put on the list that my partner had never seen before, and I knew that he'd love it, was The Adventures of Baron von Munchausen, which we watched over the course of like the other night and last night. And because I've always thought this film is amazing. Like, I've always thought this film is like aesthetically beautiful. It's one of the most aesthetically beautiful films. It's really unique, like in terms of like story wise. It kind of meanders its own way along and just remains enjoyable. It's just really, really a beautiful film, with a fantastic cast, like a fantastic cast of characters in there as well. Alright, Mars, I'll give you something to be scared about. Childhood trauma unlocked. The or/confessions. Or/off my chest, or whatever. I call her Bigfoot. I call her well, no, is this actually Ariana, or is she just called, like, a rocket exec, or whatever, rocket executive? Or something. Ah! Oh my god, that was, like, such a stupid laugh. But yeah, so, The Adventures of Baron von Munchausen, we watched over the last 2 nights, and I was like, this film is just so good. Like, I hadn't seen it in totality for, again, probably about like 8 or 9 years. Was the last time that I saw the whole thing. It's a hard hat November, y'all. Get it right. But I had like watched clips over the years, because there's like a couple, like every now and then, because there were a couple of there are a couple of like scenes in that film which I really love, like especially when Uma Thurman as Venus is revealed, and where they dance together. Like, I just love that whole part of the film, like aesthetically speaking, but also like the soundtrack is really good. It's like a really nice soundtrack at that part of the film as well. It's just nice, you know, and like everything about that film is so sumptuous and exquisite to look at. Like, you have the like on every set, there's just so much detail and so much to look at and so much to watch. It's unbelievable. So yeah, we've watched that over the last couple of nights. So yeah, it was good to see. Oh, for crying out loud! You think you're so fucking smart. You think you're so fucking smart. Wait till you see this. And the quick claw. The quick claw comes in the clutch. You fucking deserved that. That was like this. That was like that. This is how you eat a Big Mac. Mars was like, this is how you eat a Big Mac. And then like Slow Sister just like smacked it out of her hand. This is how you eat a Big Mac. I'm sorry, I just got stuck on that for a second. But yeah, so I don't know what we're going to watch next. There's obviously, like as I said, there's like all good films on the list. I'm trying to think what else is on there. I don't think there is anything else on there. I said like Stardust and Baron von Munchausen, Mr. Megorium's the inimitable Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. I think what I love about Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium is the whole the whole Natalie Portman story, because that's who it's about at the end of the day. Smell you later, Ariadne, or whatever your name is. So did that open all of the doors? Open the doors? Or what? Or does that just like open the path? Or what does it do? So how do I get in and get the smoke bowl? How do I get in to get the smoke bowl? Do I press 1, 2, 3? No. I don't know why any of this is doing. Did like pressing that emergency button do anything in the end? Maybe it's 23 is number 1. Maybe if I do this. Because if the order, at least I know that like 3, 2, 1 is the one that like... And I know that it's the smoke ball. Like I know that that's what it is. It's the smoke ball. I don't know how I have that ingrained in my memory that that's the smoke ball, but I know it. Okay, so maybe now if I press 3. But then what does the emergency button do? For crying out loud. You know what? Fuck the smoke ball. Maybe if I press 1 now. I'm just like, maybe if I press this, maybe if I press that. Do you know what? Fuck the smoke ball. Just getting out of here and healing my Pokemon. How long have we been recording for? Like 20 minutes? Kind of like wondering is, should I like stop the video and like continue in the next part? I probably should, right? Because that was like a lot of battles. Maybe in the meantime I'll look up what the code is for the smoke bowl. I don't know why I keep saying it like that. John, I'm getting my iPad. Watch out, I'm getting my iPad. No, this is not the time for another full episode video of Kitchen Nightmares. Code, smoke ball, underground. I just hope the internet understands what I mean. After grabbing the smoke ball. Sounds good. Goldenrod tunnel. Goldenrod tunnel. Secret tunnel. I don't need the salon. I don't need this. I don't need all of that. I need like the smoke bowl. By activating, deactivating the switches in the order 1, 3, 2, 1, 3. Oh, for crying out loud. How am I supposed to figure that out? What do I look like? Fucking Pythagoras? Anyway, that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye now.